Good afternoon, everyone. People are still coming in, but we will make a start. Thank you, everyone, for being here today, and welcome to our webinar. This one is about game-changing ways to get more from Microsoft products, so something in here for everyone, I'm sure. F&P are hosting this webinar in partnership with Centorrino Technologies and Microsoft. My name is Fiona Atkinson, and I am the content creator at F&P. I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to elders past and present. Just a couple of notes about housekeeping. If you have questions during the webinar, and we do encourage questions, please use the Q&A box on your screen to post your question, and we'll come to those at the end of the presentation. And a recording of this webinar and the slides will be sent to all registrants in the coming days. So please don't worry about missing anything or not taking enough notes. We will get that out to you. So now I'm going to do a quick introduction of our speakers for today. We have three speakers with us today. We have Shepherd Boyan, a Microsoft Surface specialist at Microsoft. We have Karan Singh, who is a Tech for Social Impact Business Application Specialist at Microsoft. And we have Samantha Jordan, who is Service Desk Manager at Centorrino Technologies. A big thanks to all three of our speakers for joining us today, and I will hand over to them now and rejoin for Q&A at the end of their presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Fiona. I'm really excited to be here today, and hopefully you all get something out of this webinar. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask. So today's webinar will be covering off the current state of play in the non-for-profit sector. We'll be covering the right tools for the right outcomes. So how do you use the Microsoft suite to get you the most out of what you're already paying for? And also we'll be having an expert panel Q&A at the end where we get to hear all of your burning questions. Alrighty, so now we will move on to the presentation. The non-for-profit sector, as I'm sure you're all aware, continues to shift and change. Sadly, a lot of the impacts that we're seeing come from donor behaviour and also external economic factors. With the cost of living going up, economic pressures are continuing to rise, and many supporters are starting to look into their wallets. They're starting to ask themselves questions like, do I really need that gym membership I signed up for 6 months ago? Do I need a Netflix and Stan and binge subscription? Do I really need all three of these? The other question they're asking themselves is, do I feel connected enough with the charity that I'm working with to continue on with my monthly sponsorship? This is why recession proofing is one of the biggest challenges we face in the sector today. Younger donors have very different expectations of the charities they're engaging with, and the better your team is equipped to tell your message and connect with these younger generations, the better your recession proofing strategy will be. Unfortunately, this means the old direct mail campaign in the post is no longer cutting it. Not only because younger givers want to reduce their environmental impact, they also want to engage with brands digitally. They're engaging in the commercial sector digitally. They also want to see this in the non-for-profit sector, engaging with the brands they come to know and love. On top of all of this, they also want their content personalised. Often when we're talking to marketing and fundraising teams, we get a similar story. They agree, yes, personalisation is great. It resonates with the audience and translates into donations. The question mark around this though is, how do you get the insights to make these decisions to get your message out there in a way that resonates with your audience with a small team, limited resources, and a shrinking budget? How do you get the insights you need to create the content they want and in turn convert this to donations and long-term support? This is an issue that isn't unique to the non-for-profit sector. All marketing teams are saying this across the board. What is unique to the non-for-profit sector is this problem is exacerbated by the fact that there are a lot more vacancies within the non-for-profit sector. Therefore, your human resourcing capital is a lot more stretched. Today, we'll be talking to you about how technology, and most importantly, Microsoft 365, can help you bridge some of these gaps and overcome these challenges. As you'll see in the next slide, it comes down to leveraging the right tools for the right outcomes, many of which you will already have access to, or if you don't, we can easily add them into your Microsoft suite. But together, these tools will help you out in 4 key fundamental ways. Number 1, understanding your donors and supporters better, engaging with them on a way that will really relate to them. Number 2, maximizing the output of your fundraising efforts. Again, that comes back to bringing it online, using that digital forum to get your message out there. Number 3, delivering, using the data that you already have available to you to deliver and get the most using that data to give you mission critical insights into the way your donors are engaging. And number 4, I personally think this is probably the most important one. Cyber attacks are not going away. In fact, cybercrime is getting more and more sophisticated. So using technology to help secure your data, your insights, and your donor information. I would now like to pass over to Karen, who will take you through some examples on how this can be done.
Thank you, Samantha. I think everyone can see me, right? I'm Karen Singh, Technical Specialist at Microsoft, and I'm here to give you a bit of an insight into the cloud solutions we have at Microsoft for nonprofits. Just to give you a quick overview of the Tech Social Impact initiative within Microsoft. We're a team that is being created it's a global team, but the Australian team got created around 2018. And our mission is basically, Australian New Zealand team, sorry. And our mission is to empower a non-for-profit and international development organization to accelerate their own social impact through their delivery of their services. So I'm going to go a bit deeper into about how we help deliver that with our cloud solutions. Just to give you a bit of insight around how Microsoft is mission aligned with the not-for-profit industry. These are some key factors we've got in the fiscal year of 2022. In the top, we've also 3.2 billion we've provided in software services discounted and also grants as well. So usually we run on a model where any investment that comes in from not-for-profits, we actually reinvest that in grants into the community as well. So we are very much mission aligned with not-for-profit industry. And also within Microsoft, we have a culture of giving. So that's why we have around $330 million worth of donations from Microsoft employees to support nonprofits around the world. And just below that, that's a figure right there for all the non-for-profit organizations that actually currently use our Microsoft Cloud solutions as well. So we are very much invested in your mission. This is a quick view of our model and how we operate. So we have a social investment model, which I've just described. Another thing is we also help provide affordable technology solutions as well. So that's through discounts and grants. And also we make sure that we invest in AI for good, humanitarian action, and also developing skills and employability for our communities as well. So we help your organizations fulfill these philosophies. And through that, we also succeed through our partners as well. So we have Centorrino here today. This is their webinar, and we're here to help support them in also how they can provide services for you to also get adopted into the cloud and use some of the Microsoft 365 suite and anything else that you need to adopt. With all that, it also comes down to the different clouds as well. So I'm going to quickly describe the family of products we have within the Microsoft ecosystem. So on the top left, we've got Microsoft 365. Obviously, that is your Office 365 applications, Microsoft Teams, for example, and also security around Defender, Intune, stuff like that. So it's very much around the modern work aspect of your organization. And we also have LinkedIn that integrates well with natively with our products as well. So you also get that really first experience in LinkedIn to be able to engage your constituents and also find, for example, donation managers, if they want to go and find prospects in LinkedIn, they're able to do that within Dynamics. And I'm going to quickly go into Dynamics as well. Dynamics is my focus area, actually. So I come from a Dynamics and Power Platform background. So the way I've seen Dynamics being implemented is that it's a great place to have your base system where you can have all your donor information, all your transactions, all your constituent data in one place. And then you can, on top of that, you can build different solutions and applications, and kind of like Lego. You have a base and then you have different pieces on top of that. So I'll go into a bit deeper into the different products you can get within Dynamics. And obviously below that, we've got GitHub, Power Platform, and Azure. So GitHub and Azure provides you that more pro code experience within the technology stack. And also Power Platform it gives you a pro code experience, but also more around citizen development as well. So that Power Platform, you're able to build really cool experiences on top of Dynamics. And that's the way you sort of extend that out. And this is all built within a secure cloud as well. So we take identity, security, management, and compliance seriously at Microsoft. So we ensure that all these technologies are built on those principles. I'm going to quickly go into modern work and security as the first starting place in our cloud solutions. Modern workplace, we've seen these three different main principles around how modern work should be fulfilled in today's world. Obviously, the post-COVID world where everyone is working from anywhere, and we want to make sure that you are productive anywhere. So that includes, making sure you have your documents in the cloud. You're able to collaborate on Office 365 applications, and you're able to have your email and your calendar up to date. Making sure that collaboration within your teams is up to scratch. And also, we want to make sure that all your not-for-profit data is secure as well. So obviously, as mentioned before, a lot of cybersecurity threats is happening nowadays. We've seen a lot of breaches of data happening with large enterprise accounts. So, we really want to make sure that all the not-for-profits have secure data and all their devices are secured, and all the users are secured as well, to make sure that we don't have breaches in that space as well. And also, we want to make sure that it's a cost-effective solution as well. So the bar to entry into these products is very low. With security, these are the four different factors that split up into user, device, application, and document. Obviously, all different aspects of these have different ways of managing security, but we obviously want to make sure that users have a consistent security experience throughout their devices, the applications they use, and also the documents that they interact with as well. So we make sure this is a one cohesive experience, and also we want to make sure that no outside threats can get into this data, and it's secured in our M365 security platform stack. Very quickly, I'll go into a bit of Dynamics and Power Platform as well to see how that can help, how you can use that within your organization. The way we've built business applications, we wanted to transform the not-for-profit sector. So these are some of the key components within the sector that we have sort of transformed and built on top of. So for example, we have a solution for fundraising engagement within the cloud for nonprofit. And that was already built on Dynamics Sales. So you get the same experience that you would have in Dynamics Sales, but we've gone and built fundraising engagement on top of that and given you a solution to use right from the start. Same with constituent marketing journeys as well. So if you want to have a place where you can have a consistent, cohesive experience with all your constituents interacting with the system, and give them a really concise marketing journey throughout throughout being a donor to maybe even being a volunteer as well, because we've seen that once people donate, they might want to volunteer down the track. Vice versa as well. People volunteer, they might want to donate later down the track. So we've got these really rich experiences and journeys you can build within marketing that comes out of the box right away. And for example, with volunteering, we have a volunteer management and engagement application as well within our Power Platform stack. So that's just to give you a little bit of insight into the different ways we've addressed some of the solutions for not-for-profits. And this is all built within the common data model as well. So we've built a common data model that we see a lot of not-for-profits need for their different use cases, and that's something that you can adopt. It's free. You're able to just use it right away, and you already have a consistent database and tables and everything already there, fields, stuff like that, already there to use for your not-for-profit needs. I'll go quickly into a bit more into the business application side and fundraising engagement. So the whole reason we built fundraising engagement is because we wanted to give fundraising managers the best tool possible to go and attract new donors, help retain them, and really build a personalized experience for them. We also wanted to drive efficiency as well in their operations. We wanted to get you really accurate real-time view of your fundraising data as well and financial outcomes. And also we wanted to align different not-for-profits on a similar system so that, if you want to exchange information between not-for-profits, there's a consistent experience to do that, and it's very easy to do. And obviously this is all built within our Dynamics and Power Platform ecosystem. I touched on earlier as well around the volunteer solutions that we have. This is for volunteer managers and people who are engaging with the system as well, the actual volunteers. So we've built a solution for both of them. So for volunteer managers, they have an application where they can go and view all their volunteers. They can go and do their onboarding of the volunteers. And also they can have a consistent view of their profile as well. And also volunteers have a separate portal for themselves to log into, and they can go and apply for different volunteering opportunities that the managers can go and create in the system. And again, this is all built within the Cloud for Nonprofit and Power Platform. The whole premise of business applications, we want to break the barrier, democratize how you want to build your apps within the organization. And that's why we have a really cool no-code, low-code experience for customers to use, and which is really great for nonprofits, because I definitely understand that not every not-for-profit organization has a large development house, but we've made these tools really configurable and in a way that's easy to maintain for nonprofits. So that's why we really pushed forward with this no-code, low-code philosophy. And we also have Power BI, which I know is very it's kind of a hot topic nowadays as well. You're able to get really cool visualizations of your data in many different reports that you create. And you can also embed those different reports within your Dynamics application, or within Power Platform, or within the Office 365 suite as well. You can also leverage Power BI in really, really powerful use cases. And also the great thing about Power BI is that you can get information from many different data sources as well. So if you have data stored within many different systems, you can actually bring it into Power BI and use that. And also just quickly, I just want to go into the, I've talked about Power Apps before, but Power Automate and Power Virtual Agents as well. We've got cool different tools for building workflow automation as well. So Power Automate, you can actually do automation that doesn't even need to have any relevance to Dynamics. You can do automation in SharePoint. You can do automation in Office 365 suite. There's many different ways of using Power Automate as well. And it helps you really just build that efficiency, the operational efficiency within the organization. And also we have Power Virtual Agents as well. So you would see a lot of hype around ChatGPT and the new AI models that are coming to Microsoft. So we actually leverage that with Power Virtual Agents as well, to give your constituents a really great experience, to make sure that they're able to get the answers they need without actually reaching a person. It also helps, making sure there's real efficiency within your service needs. And with that, that's just a quick overview of all the cloud solutions. I'm sure you have many different questions we'll address down the track, and I'll pass it over to Shefa to go a bit more into the service and device stack of Microsoft.
Thank you so much, Karen, and thanks F&P for having me. I'm very excited to be here today. I am a Surface specialist, also aligned to the tech for social impact sector within Microsoft. So I work very closely with not-for-profits, philanthropies, charities. Yeah, every day I work with those NFPs. Something I'm sure you've all noticed is how quickly the way we work has evolved in the last 3 or even 4 years. Samantha touched on it, Karen touched on it. Hybrid work is the new normal. It's the future and it's here to stay. And chances are you're already leveraging collaboration tools such as Teams within your M365 experience. It's how we collaborate with our team, and in many cases, it's how we connect with donors. Now, imagine pairing the power of Teams with the advanced hardware of Surface. So every Surface is crafted very thoughtfully, very purposefully to enhance the M365 experience. So whether it's the camera or the microphone, or in some of our newer devices, the neural processing unit, every single component that goes into a Surface device is built specifically for M365, and it's designed to power productivity in a hybrid work environment. So an example, if we're talking about the Studio Dual microphones, these microphones that are built into the Surface devices, they support voice clarity, which in this day and age is so important when it comes to things like meeting recordings, transcriptions, and things like AI generated meeting summaries. We're seeing these new technologies come up more and more every day. And if I put it into context, if I miss a 30-minute Teams meeting today due to a clashing call, or I'm out in the field, I'm talking to customers or clients, I can easily go into Viva Sales, take 5 or 10 minutes to read through the meeting summary, the meeting notes, and be completely caught up. So that's about 20 minutes that I'm getting back in my day, because I don't need to watch the entire meeting recording, all because the Surface microphone was able to pick up accurate transcription, and then the transcription allows the AI to accurately condense the meeting information into 6 or maybe 7 bullet points. So if I'm out in the field, I miss 3 meetings in a day, that's about an hour that I'm getting back to be client facing, to be donor facing. In a work week, that's about 5 hours that I'm getting back to be on the front line. And this is just one example of how you and your team can also unlock greater productivity by backing your M365 environment with a Surface device. Another trend that we're seeing is a sharper focus on device security and securing your data on the devices that your employees and your volunteers are using. When your volunteers and your frontline workers are traveling, which is often the case, they're in the field, they're talking to donors, talking to clients, your organization's confidential data, which, you know, a lot of the times it does include personal data that your donors are sharing, all of that information is traveling with them. And with cyber attacks growing by over 200% in the last 3 to 4 years, they're becoming more frequent, they're becoming more severe. So simplifying your IT management and at the same time strengthening your security posture it's imperative. It's more important than ever, because people and your donors, they want the confidence that the personal information that they're sharing is being kept safe. So how Surface can protect your organization and your donors is through what we call chip to cloud security, which I'll touch on in a moment. Oh, sorry, if you could go back to that slide again. Thank you. I quickly want to touch on what we call zero-touch deployment, or autopilot, Windows Autopilot. Now, this piece of technology is something that allows Surface devices to be shipped directly to your end user, and the device is ready to be used out of the box. It's that out-of-box experience that they get. The device is pre-enrolled against your tenant. It's imaged and configured against your company policies. So any settings or applications that a particular user or a volunteer might need in their workflow, all of that information will be automatically installed. It'll automatically be installed on the device when they log in for the first time. It's a super simple way of deploying your devices. Doesn't take very long. And the awesome thing is that your IT team, they don't have to touch the device. It's the perfect way to keep your devices compliant from the very beginning. And that's the confidence that you can give your donors and your clients as well, that the device that their information is going into is secure and compliant from the very beginning. In the next slide, I want to share our chip to cloud security model. So you can see here that Surface is designed with security at its core. Security is built into the DNA of Surface. And it all starts with the hardware, and understanding that if somebody has tried to tamper with the device, then the hardware all the way through to the cloud can help protect not just the device, but also your data and your donor information. And this is so important when you as a fundraising manager or a volunteer, you're working on different sites every day, you're on the train, you're traveling on a bus. There is a high chance that you could misplace your device. And if by chance a bad character picks up your device, there's a possibility that they can install malware simply by sticking a USB into the device, and within minutes, your IP, your data, donor information, all of that is leaked to the world, and that's just a nightmare that you don't want to have lingering over your head. And so ensuring that your device is secure, and then backing that with the layers upon layers of security that you get with your M365 environment is crucial. So starting at a hardware level, every Surface is Windows Hello enabled. So what Windows Hello means is that gone are the days where users are needing to enter their devices using passwords. So Windows Hello uses biometric data such as facial recognition or fingerprint scanning, and this information is stored locally on the device, not in the cloud. So it's very, very difficult to attack, and that's just a login process there. That's very secure. Then if we talk about the Trusted Platform Module, the TPM 2.0 chip, this is a unique cryptographic signature that's built to work with the firmware of your device. So your volunteers, your field workers, your frontline workers, they have the peace of mind that if the device is it's compromised and it falls into the wrong hands, anyone who tries a bootkit, they will not be able to get into the device. The device will simply not power up because the firmware knows that this is not the correct source. So that's another layer of security that you get at a very hardware level. In addition to this, you at an organization level also have the ability to remotely control your devices on an extremely granular level within Intune. So you have the ability to disable the camera, the microphone, the USB ports, the Bluetooth, pretty much any other component that could be vulnerable to infiltration. And this is possible because we build our own Microsoft UEFI. And that just means that all updates are immediately pushed through Windows updates on day 0. So there's no lag between when the update is released and it being available on your device. You have the update straight away. And of course, Microsoft Defender is our cloud security program, and it'll keep your data and your donors' information safe from any sort of ransomware, malware, and any of those other nasty cyber attacks. So all in all, you can see that chip to cloud model, the chip to cloud model that we have, it really implements security as a proactive strategy. It protects your users and your donors, your clients, behind layers upon layers of security. And this will empower you to play security from an offense approach rather than a defense approach. And it gives you that confidence that your team and your clients are kept safe and secure with the best of Microsoft. And before I hand back, I quickly want to share one use case with you today. I do have a few other use cases, but for the sake of time, I'll stick to this one. So working with a lot of NFPs is day in, day out. Something that I hear quite often when I speak to these accounts and clients are challenges that fundraising managers often face in their role. And some of these challenges that I hear are not being able to connect, staying connected when working on the move, or being able to collaborate on certain campaigns that you're working on with stakeholders, also while being in a mobile or a remote sort of work environment. And lastly, being able to communicate the mission, your organizational mission, to prospective donors, whether it be online or on-site. And so a solution to this is ensuring that you as a fundraising manager or a volunteer or a marketing team member, you're equipped with the right tools. And something like a Surface Pro 9 or even a laptop 5, a Surface Laptop 5 can do just that. So you have the power of a fully functioning computer in the body of a 2-in-1 versatile device. So whether you want to use it as a laptop or you want to use it as a tablet because it's easier for intake or taking in information, you have that versatility at your fingertips. You have that adaptability. The 2-in-1 form factor Surface Pro 9, some of those devices are 5G enabled as well, so you get that connectivity capability. So you can stay connected no matter where you are. You can stay secure. You don't need to hotspot or connect to a public network. And it just means that no matter where you are, you can always focus on what's high priority and not experience any sort of downtime. Yeah, so that's it from me today, I guess. Thank you so much for having me today, and I'll hand it back to yourself, Fiona.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Karan and Shefa. I will ask and Sam, I will ask you to come back actually and join me for Q&A if that's okay. So if you could all just turn your cameras back on, that would be great. I do have a question here. I think it's probably one for you, Shefa. It's from Lindsay Reed, and she asks, in terms of accuracy, how does Surface compare to Otter AI? Can you upload phone recordings to Surface and transcribe them from a file?
Yeah, so in terms of accuracy, I've definitely used a lot of other devices in my time, and I've seen some very funny transcriptions, and something that I'm very, very satisfied with, especially with the introduction of, things like Copilot and artificial intelligence. The transcription is getting more and more accurate as the days go by. I mean, just yesterday, I was able to use the recording within Teams to summarize a meeting that I had with a client, and the accuracy that I got was amazing. I mean, apart from my name it's very ethnic. Sometimes it's quite hard to pick up. Apart from my name, I mean, most of the information was very accurate. something I didn't touch on was the touch screen. So a lot of the times we're in situations where we're having to take quick notes. Surface devices, they are pen enabled. They're all touchscreen and pen enabled. So when you are taking notes, it will automatically, I guess, convert the notes that you're taking on the screen and have it available in type. So that's something that I guess it's a cool feature that you have, especially if you're working on site and you know, you could be working in an aged care home or a hospital, and you're needing to take down notes quite quickly. And so that you're not doubling up on that work, you have the ability to, I guess, not transcribe, but have that converted into text quite instantly. So yeah, that's the sort of capability you get with the Surface device.
Fantastic. Thank you, Shefa. There's a question here, I think it's probably for you, Karan, from Kelly. She's wondering where she can find out a bit more information about the volunteer and engagement system and app that you talked about earlier. She'd like to see some examples of it up and running. I wonder if you actually could pop into the chat the best contact details for any volunteers that would like to see, any of the audience who would like to see some more detailed demos and perhaps get some more information. If the team could pop a link into the chat, that would be fantastic.
Fiona, I can probably chime in here. So if Kelly, we might reach out to you after this. The program that Karen's referring to is the Dynamics. So they do have a really nice build out for non-for-profit. So we're happy to reach out to you and we can give you a demo around that. Was there anything you wanted to add, Karen?
Yeah, definitely. No, I think Centorrino can definitely help with something like demonstrations, but I can definitely also send some additional information around the volunteer management and engagement solutions as well, if you like. I can just put it in the chat right away.
Wonderful, thank you. And Kelly has provided her email address there as well, which is great. I have got a question here, and if anybody has got more questions, please do pop them into the Q&A. I was just interested to ask, and I know a lot of nonprofits have got a lot of interest in Power BI. I don't know much about Power Automate, but I was wondering if the panel are able to give some examples of the way that some nonprofits have used both Power BI and Power Automate really well, just to give us some really tangible ideas about how these tools are being used and used effectively.
Yeah, definitely. I can talk with that question. A few examples with Power Automate we've seen is being able to automate some processes, like, for example, if you need to download a file from a website. So we've seen some cases where that's people manually go and download a file, they go and change the file type, and have to store it within the OneDrive or anything like that. So you can actually automate those type of processes as well. So you can actually go being able to put in a request, download the file, make sure it goes into the right folder. That's something that can be automated. It doesn't have nothing to do with Dynamics right now, but there's also Dynamics use cases where you can go and automate approval processes. So let's say, for example, you've got a grant application process within the organization. You can actually go and use Power Automate to go and do approvals for that grant application. And make sure that you have the right tick boxes across the whole journey of that grant application, being approved by the specific approvers throughout the life cycle, and you can use Power Automate for that. That's more Power Automate. And then Power BI. Power BI helps you get really good insights into your impact delivery of the mission that you've got for nonprofit. You got for the nonprofit organization. For example, if you need to track how many volunteers have actually fulfilled the opportunities that they've applied for, even how many you want to get a view of all the different volunteers within the organization as well, and also donations as well. Let's say how many people have donated within the last 5 years. how many people have actually been recurring donators within the organization as well. You can get those type of insights within Power BI and be able to surface that on any different application for people to get really quick insights into their data.
Yeah, so just to add on to that, Karen, some of the ones we see regularly is the web forms. So a lot of web forms will email in, as people are reaching out to your organization. We see a lot of automation around the way that data is handled. So it comes in, there's a workflow, it'll send it to the right person based on the information they've inputted, and it'll also send out like correspondence back to them. So that acknowledgement that, was previously done manually, a lot of this repetitive stuff can be automated. It gets you that engagement a lot quicker to the person reaching out to you. So, they're not looking elsewhere. They know that you're engaged and, you can help them, and it gets the message to the right person. So instead of having someone sit there and, manually triage those emails as they come in, you can use the data and the inputs that come in, extract that and send it off to the right place.
Fabulous, thank you. There's a question here from Craig who asks, are there any solutions in the risk or incident management space? And I guess quite a lot of nonprofits are working with a lot of risk and incident management, so it's a good question.
Yeah, so here at CT, we actually have a dedicated 365 team. Part of their role is they'll have a look at your current setup and they'll compare that to what Microsoft recommends. So Microsoft has a secure score rating that they will give to each line item and it kind of allows you to see how you are positioned from a security point of view. And then we use that to baseline you and lift you up. So in terms of, obviously a non-for-profit is their brand. The last thing you want is donor banking information getting out there into the internet. So we are seeing a big trend around security and people being security conscious. So we've got a team who is dedicated to uplifting your security around the 365 stack.
Great, thank you. There's a question here from Casey who asks, I'm aware that some Microsoft partners have specific IP and solutions built for nonprofits. Is everything that we've seen today generally available, or is it exclusive to a particular vendor such as Centorrino? So I think they're asking if they need kind of an implementation partner, or if these solutions are available off the shelf.
Definitely, yeah. Like the Cloud for Nonprofit solution that I spoke to a bit earlier in the session, that's actually available for all nonprofits. Yeah, that's not partner specific, so you can definitely advise with a partner to go and implement those solutions in terms of being able to extend it out further, or make sure you deploy the solution within the organization. Manage change management aspects as well. Things like that Centorrino can help out with. But yeah, it's the nonprofit is actually available to all nonprofits. It's actually a Microsoft managed solution that we've built and put out to the market.
Fantastic, thank you. There's a couple of comments in the chat thread, one from Rania and one from Olga, who said that they would love some kind of practical examples of how each tool can help them. Sorry, I can't remember if this is mentioned, but there is a QR code on the screen that people can scan. They can fill out a form, and Centorrino Technologies can go through. I guess it's kind of an assessment of how nonprofits are currently using Microsoft Office 365, or they might be thinking about taking on new Microsoft products, and a closer look at the solutions that would match you. So we do encourage you to scan that QR code, and then you can get a more in-depth analysis of what you're doing and what might fit your organization.
Yeah, absolutely, Fiona. And I guess coming back to that last question, so all of these products are, available. They're provided by Microsoft. Where we add value is making sure that you're using those tools and customizing them for the way that you work. So obviously, Microsoft, as fabulous as they are, they do work very widely across the non-profit sector. And it's just about making sure that we're using those tools that they're giving you as effectively as possible. So, given the size of your organization, given the donors you're trying to reach, all of this needs to be factored in. And, that's why we're here to help.
Absolutely. There's a question here, 2 questions from Ishara. So the first one is there a password manager within the Microsoft suite? So they give the example of 1Password, but basically a password manager that helps people share passwords with each other securely. Is that something that's included?
I'll double check that one. I'm sure we do have a solution for that. I'll double check that.
Okay. And so Ishara's second question is, can you help organizations transition from G Suite to Microsoft?
Yeah, absolutely. This is one we see come through quite often. So, given as, Karen mentioned earlier, the discounts and, all the fabulous work that Microsoft's doing in the non-for-profit space, we do get a lot of requests to come through to move off G Suite onto Microsoft. I think they're doing a lot of work building out functionality too. So yeah, if you need help with that, we can absolutely help.
Wonderful, thank you. Can I just ask, and I'm sure this is a question that a lot of the audience are wondering, is there pricing that's specific to nonprofits? Can you talk about that a bit?
Yeah, there absolutely is. So the base level offering Microsoft gives non-for-profits is actually free. So that's up to 300 staff members. So for those smaller organizations who are looking to get into Microsoft, again, it's a free offering. It is web-based. But yeah, give it a go. You've got absolutely nothing to lose. And again, you'll come across features and you'll want to try things. Reach out if you have any questions, and we can talk you through it.
And above those numbers of users, is there levels of pricing according to organization size or annual revenue and things like that? Is it
There is. I don't have the exact numbers. I'm not the sales guy. So Karen, do you mind grabbing this one?
Yeah, like with the non-profit, we've actually got 3 different SKUs. So there's a basic SKU that you can actually adopt, and that one is you only get access to the fundraising engagement and the volunteer management engagement solutions specifically. But then there is a paid SKU that I think it's probably 0 to 200 users in your organization. I probably need to double check, but I think it's around that mark. That one you get included with constituent marketing journeys within that solution, and also some support agreements as well. So and then there's another SKU on top of that, which is called P2, that is for 200 plus users within your organization. So I can provide a link to get better insight into those metrics. And also it gives you a table to see what's included within that licensing. But one thing to note around the nonprofit cloud licensing is that you need to have prerequisite licensing before you can actually get the cloud for nonprofits. So what that means is that, let's say for fundraising engagement solution, you actually need to get Dynamics 365 sales licensing. So once you purchase that, then you can get the cloud nonprofit, which adds on the fundraising engagement solution on top of your Dynamics 365 licensing. So I'll send that across in the chat to give you a better link into all of this, and you can see it there as well.
Thank you. And we will in our email that we send, maybe pop it in the chat now, Karan, that would be great. But we will also send an email with the slides and the recording from the webinar, and we can include links to things like that, so everyone will have that information at their fingertips. So are there any more questions that anybody would like to ask any of the panel at all about what you've heard today? If so, pop it in the Q&A box. People are saying thank you. And we'll just give you a few more seconds to just scan that QR code, which will take you to a form where you can get that free technology session from Centorrino. And I believe Karan's just put that pricing link in the chat he has. Thank you. So if there are no more questions, we will wrap up today. We know that everyone's got meetings and lunch to go to. So thank you to the audience for being here today, and thank you for your questions and for taking the time to learn a bit more about Microsoft products. And thank you so much to Microsoft, to our panel, and to Centorrino Technologies for being with us today. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing everyone at our next webinar. Thank you very much, and have a good afternoon, everyone. Thank you.